All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Tim Pandajis, and today's video's purpose is to talk about dust. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, dust. What are you talking about with dust? That's so boring. Why does that even matter? Well, this is a special kind of dust because it's coming from all the way across the Atlantic in Africa, and it is bringing some impacts here to some of us. Allergy sufferers, asthma sufferers, but it's bringing nice sunrises, sunsets, and it's also helping us keep the Atlantic basin, in terms of hurricanes, tropical systems, very, very quiet. You can see it here, indicated on our imagery, that there is some yellows across the area, and that is the Saharan dust in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So what exactly is it? Now, we call it the Saharan air layer, Saharan dust layer, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing. It's a massive, very dry, dusty air that forms over the Sahara Desert during the late spring, summer, and early fall. These two time frames are critical because that is right around when we see the activity in the Atlantic start to get fired up. If we've got the dust in place, that puts the kibosh on everything. So we'd like to see that. Climatologically, though, this time of the year is favored to see that dust, which is why tropical activity tends to be a little bit low in the middle of July, kind of a lull before the ramp up as we get into August and September. Now, they develop in Africa. Now, when tropical waves drive right along the southern tier of the Saharan Desert, and what those storms do is they loft dust into the air, and eventually it makes it into the upper levels of the atmosphere, and that's where winds push it westwards and disperse it pretty much across the northern hemisphere. And even sometimes it makes its way into the southern hemisphere, depending on the wind shifts in direction. Very, very rare, though, that it crosses the equator. Now, here's where it's going over the next couple of days. We've got it over the area now, and as we go out in time with the models, we get a little bit of a break by midweek, but it looks like another surge, another plume develops moving over the Gulf of Mexico and bringing us, once again, lower air quality and that hazy kind of sunshine, filtered sunshine, across the area. So the Saharan air layer has pros and cons with it. Some things that you would never think that dust could actually do. And it does fertilize the rainforest in South America. How about that? It's also a food source high in iron for fish in the Atlantic Ocean. And this is the big one. It deters the tropical development in the Atlantic basin. Why does dry air stop tropical systems? Well, think about a tropical system. It's a moist engine. It needs warm ocean waters, moist mid, lower, upper levels of the atmosphere to kind of get itself going like a functioning engine. When you got dry air thrown in the mix there, it's like an engine puttering on out. So that's not good for tropical systems, and that's what we like to see, especially if we can get it in here around the peak of hurricane season. And, of course, vivid sunrises and sunsets. You may have noticed that this morning or this evening or for the next couple of days, especially by the end of the week when we get that another surge. But there are cons. Poor air quality is present across the region right now, and that is not good for sensitive groups, allergy and asthma sufferers. You get a little bit of a break by midweek, and then it ramps back up by later this week. Here's current air quality observations. Moderate throughout the entire area of southeast Texas, really all of East Texas, a bunch of Louisiana, and spreading north as far north as Oklahoma City. So it's impactful, and it is impacting those sensitive groups, allergy sufferers and asthma sufferers too. All right, tropical satellite, you can see that the dust is doing its job. We are not tracking any areas of development across the entire Atlantic basin. Climatologically speaking, this is not unusual. We tend to see dust this time of the year, and then things kind of quiet down, and then we see an increase in activity by late July and into August, and of course September, right around the peak, when if we can get any dust at all, that would be good to kind of quell that activity there. All right, that's all I have to say about dust. There's not much more to go in about, but if you have a question, I didn't answer something you had a question about, you can reach out on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook. We'll see you on the news coming up this evening at 5:30 and